Are you looking for the perfect scrappy sewing project that's fun, fast, and functional? I've got you covered today. I'm going to show you how to create an adorable table runner in just 30 minutes. And it's based on the 10-minute table runner, but I'm adding in the extra 20 minutes to make 3 scrappy quilt blocks. You're going to be giving your fabric scraps a new purpose while creating something beautiful for your home. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jackie, and if you're new here, I love sharing creative ways that you can use up your fabric scraps in projects that are meaningful and fun. I'm excited to show you how to make this table runner in just 30 minutes. You can use Quilt As You Go blocks, crazy quilt blocks, or like I have here, string quilt blocks. Whatever you have on hand. This project is great for gifts, seasonal decor, or adding a personal touch to your table. So go grab your scraps and let's get started. Just a little backstory. My friend Carol and I are going to be creating the table runners for our February women's breakfast at church. We typically have 8 tables, so she'll be creating 4 and I'll be creating 4. So this is going to be like a trial run as far as creating table runners. And I thought I would show you the 4 table runners that I'll be making in future videos. So watch for that. The materials you're going to need for this project, super easy. 1 large piece of fabric cut to 18 inches this way, and then it's going to be 42 inches long is what I'm using. If you have 44 inches and you want to go that long, you can, but I cut mine to 42. So it's 42 by 18, and we're going to call this the backing or border. And this is just a scrap piece of fabric that I had. I had a lot of it, so I'm thinking it may have been a sheet in a previous life. Then you'll need the 3 quilt blocks that we made from the earlier video, and all I did is combine them. This is it ended up being about 26.5 inches. So remember I said that let me back up. You're going to need these, but these have to match the 42 inches long. So what I did is I took some of this fabric that I had and I just took it and I put some interfacing on the back, and we're going to add this on and trim it down to the 42 inches. And all I'm going to do is take it to the sewing machine on each side. Let me bring you down to the table. So I have these 2 pieces of fabric that I cut. These are 9 by 9. Just to be on the safe side, and then I put interfacing on the back. I'm going to lay these face down, clip them, I think will be the easiest, and the same for the other side. Right sides together, clip those, because the premise is you need 2 pieces of fabric for the project only. And I believe it's only 4 seams. All right, I'm going to go to the sewing machine, and here's what it looks like. I'm going to go to the sewing machine, do a 1/4 inch seam allowance on each side, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back from the sewing machine, and now I think this would make more sense. See how I've got this long quilt block row? And then all I'm going to do is open up these seams and press them, because I just want them flat. Just like that. And that was a 1/4 inch seam allowance for that. Let's get this one pressed open. And we're not worried about what it looks like on the back because you won't even see it. So let's get these seams pressed open. Just like that. And then we'll turn it over, give it a quick press. There we go. Now we need for this to be 42 inches to match our back piece. It is right now yes, it's 44 inches. So I'm just going to mark where the center is on this, and I will trim it once we're done sewing the 2 pieces together. So I'll just mark the center with a pin, just like that. Then I know to match it up with the center of this, and then we can do a trim. So we're going to open this up. Right side facing up. Let's get the center of this. Now, if you just used 2 pieces of fabric, you wouldn't have to go through all that because you could just cut it down. But because we're using the blocks, we have a little different situation. All right, so that's the center of that. So all we need to do right side up, and on our quilt blocks, right side down. And here, right here is going to be our center. Right there. And then what we want to do is, we can pull those out now. We are going to pin all along this side and go to the sewing machine and do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So go ahead and pin everything up just like that. And you can see I'm over a little bit here, but we're going to trim that after we're done sewing. I just know you guys are going to love this because you will have a different tablecloth each time. You don't know what you're going to get. All right, I've got this end or this long edge pinned. I'm going to go to the sewing machine, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'll be right back. Back from the sewing machine. This has a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now what we're going to do is pull this quilt block part over to the other edge and line that up and pin that. That will get a 1/4 inch seam allowance as well. We're basically forming a tube. All right, once I have this long edge sewn, I will meet you back here at the table. All right, I have the 1/4 inch seam allowance sewn. Then what you're going to do is reach in and pull it inside out. We'll move our ruler here. See if I can get you down a little closer. Next, what we want to do is give it a really good press. And you see how the bottom became our border? How cute is that? And then we just want to make sure that we're even on both sides. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're pretty even on the sides. Right here, I'm about, looks like 2 1/4 inches. And here, I am 2 1/4 inches. So that's where we want to be. Going to grab the iron and just press that. Same thing over here. Just press that down. Can you imagine the possibilities? Even your backing could be quilted if you wanted. Okay. Let's bring this down. And you can see here where we have to trim. And then we'll iron over here. Just give it a good press. After you give it a good press, grab your cutting mat and your rotary cutter. And your ruler, and just trim that up right where the original backing fabric is. And you'll just line it up on one of the lines. Let me pull this up just a little more. There we go. Cut that off. Now we're even on that side. We'll turn this over. Just line it up with that line on the ruler. There we go. Next, flip it over. We're going to fold it in half. And grab some pins and pin it. So we folded, here is our bottom, and we're going to fold up just like that. Pin that. Pin this. To the sewing machine 1/4 inch seam allowance. Before I do anything else, where I sewed that 1/4 inch seam allowance on this corner, I'm just going to trim around that corner, making sure that I don't go in to this, just like that. Just don't want to hit the seam. We just want to reduce some of that bulk. All right, the next step, this is where the magic starts to happen. We're going to take our finger and put our finger in here and flip it inside out. Just like that. Put your finger right there and push it through and flip it. Turn it on its back. Make sure you poke out. And let's go ahead and give this a press. Look at that. And then here's this side. Reach in there. Bring that down. Press out. All that's left to do is some top stitching. And we are going to sew along here 1/8 of an inch, just right on the edge. And in here, right here, we're going to do a stitch in the ditch, and all that means is you're just going to go and sew right in that seam. And then we're done. Once I'm done, I'll be back to show you. Let's give this a really good press one more time. I think you'll spend most of your time with the final presses. Oh, I wanted to show you. here's the stitching I did at the edge. That's that 1/8 inch right there. And then here is the stitch in the ditch, right in that seam. And then on the back, it just gives it a nice clean finish. But it's so pretty. I did have a little puckering here and there, but we're fine with that. I think it's beautiful. Just press that out. All right, I'll move the camera back so you can kind of see a little bit better. Here is our beautiful table runner. Scrap fabric. Scrap fabric. How cute. And like I said in my previous video, if you wanted, you could do some decorative stitching in here. And what if the back was all quilt blocks? That would be awesome too. There we go. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I hope you'll make lots of these table runners. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, God bless you.